Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with an absolutely incredible beast of a figure. You are looking at probably one of the nicest Tyrannosaurus Rex models you will ever see anywhere. This is a brand new Sauria Models release, and this is the T-Rex in 1/20th scale, making sure you know that it is as large and as intimidating as possible, because this thing, again, like I said, is such a beast of a T-Rex. It is truly magnificent, and I have reviewed quite a few Sauria Models figures in the past, and they've always been fantastic, but honestly, this one might be the best one yet. And I really like the colors that they've chosen. This was actually painted by Sauria Models, not painted by me. I think it's a very nice natural look for a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Definitely the type of color scheme that would work well with it. So I'm going to go ahead, readjust the camera here briefly so we can get a closer look. So starting up here in the head sculpt of the T-Rex, you can see, again, we definitely have some really nice, really vibrant detail. You've got some very large scales, especially as you get closer to the jawline, something you see quite often on Tyrannosaurs. You can see the nostrils sculpted out right there, as well as much finer scales and tons of really nice kind of minute skin detail as you move through the figure. He's also done a great job of applying the paintwork with some nice variations of browns as well as blacks, and there is even some light washes that have been applied to kind of creep in and out of all of that skin detail, all of that scale detail, which looks really good. As you lead up, you've got the eye painted with a yellow, giving it black pupil. That looks really good as well. We do have lips for our Tyrannosaurus, and if you look inside the mouth, you can see the mouth is open just enough that we can see the teeth and everything in there, and they definitely look very nicely sculpted overall, and you know, absolutely have that kind of genuine sharp look to them, which is a huge plus. But the mouth, again, is only open just a little bit, so you could just get a nice little visual there of the teeth and kind of see the tongue and everything in there without getting too far into the mouth, giving the T-Rex, again, a really nice visual, because it's not often that you see a Tyrannosaur looking more casual, and not, you know, in like some sort of like an attack pose or anything like that, kind of portraying the real animal and not just some violent monster. As we lead along the lower jaw, again, more really nice skin detail, nice scales, very, very fine scales as you move further back. I like the creasing here in the kind of like edge of the mouth, in the corner of the mouth. You've got some nice skin creases. As you lead up, you can see the ear back here. Again, some more nice light washes with some different variations of browns that have been applied to the Tyrannosaurus. As you move up to the top of the head, again, some more different variations of browns, some more very nice fine scales. As you lead back, you've got some more kind of skin creases and skin wrinkles and everything. You can also make out the spinal column up here on the top. We also pick up some kind of like reddish browns in certain areas. It kind of becomes a little bit more vibrant. If we get nice and close, there we go, you can really appreciate how nice not only the paintwork is, but how nice the scales are and how nice the scales look. We kind of have like a striping effect as we lead down. You see like a darker striping that really subtly runs through the body, which looks really good. We can also see some very nice tensing in the neck, nice skin wrinkles and folds and everything as you move down into the lower part of the neck. Very impressive skin detail as you move through the Tyrannosaurus. As you lead back here into the body, you can see again some really nice variation of color with some of the reddish browns and then the blacks and even different shades of browns on top of that. And again, we continue to have super impressive scale detail as you lead through, and really impressive fine detail. As you can see, tiny skin wrinkles and folds and stuff as you move along. A few more creases as you lead up here into the top of the hip area. We also have some really nice tiny T-Rex arms, of course. They look really good. The fingers are sculpted really nicely. The claws have a genuine sharp look to them, and the claws even have a little bit, like a slight bit of variation of color to them, showing the very impressive paintwork of Sauria Models. We can see the elbow on the back of the arm, as well as some creasing here in the joint of the elbow. As you move along the underside of the T-Rex, again, you do have a little bit of a different style of scales, but you can see so much fine detail here on the underside. Like, that is crazy, crazy impressive and realistic. As you move back up here, you can, of course, continue to see the spinal column following along the back. We can also see the musculature of the thigh really nicely defined without being overly defined. We also have some injuries as you move down here, like old scars and stuff on the T-Rex as you lead through the leg, which is a really nice touch, a very realistic touch that not everybody applies to their figures. So I absolutely have to give props to Sauria Models for that. Moving down, again, some more skin wrinkles and creases and stuff, kind of right there, a nice scar leading through some of those. And you can also, of course, see skin kind of like wrinkling up in the knee area. We have the knee itself, a really big bulging calf muscle as you lead down. Again, all sorts of little variation of color, slight shades of browns and stuff, different variation to the shades of browns used. You've got even blacks in there. And again, some very impressive scale detail, which you can see has been brought out quite nicely with a dry brushing on the part of Sauria Models. And then we lead down into the foot sculpt. You've got some nice scoots moving down the toes. You can see more of the really nice dark tones, but more of that light wash as you move down. We have the toes sculpted beautifully. And again, the skin texture, even within the toes, is so realistic and so well done. Obviously, the paintwork is fantastic on this. Very much so a bird-like foot sculpt as well. You've got the claws sculpted out really nicely, painted with a black tone. And if you look over there, you do have the dew claws painted. As you lead up and you lead out into the tail, you can see again some more skin wrinkles, as well as the skin kind of stretching off of the tail because that leg is taking a step forward. And then you lead out and you've got a really nice big impressive tail sculpt for the T-Rex that my camera is going to lose focus on. As you lead out, it kind of leads up and then curves down. And we even have on top of, again, super nice looking scale detail, super nice looking fine detail. We have more injuries and scars and stuff as you lead along, which of course is a fantastic addition to the model. As we turn it around and we take a look here over at the other side, you can of course see the head sculpt. It looks pretty much the same over here as it did on the first side. Same type of paintwork, of course, same super impressive skin texture and fine detail. Leading back, we can take note to the fact that the T-Rex does have its head turned away from us, which you can see right there. And now we have the like stretching and tensing really obvious on this side of the neck because of course the T-Rex again is turning its head away from us. But the paintwork continues to look so nice on this figure, and the fine detail, like I said, is magnificent in the best way possible. It is by far some of the nicest sculpted detail on a Tyrannosaurus I've ever seen. You can see more skin kind of folding and everything down here on the bottom of the neck. We can also see the arms sculpted out over here, held in pretty much the same position as what we had seen on the first side. Again, really well done. Variation of color, even moving down into the arms, as you can see kind of like some reddish browns showing up there in the hands and fingers. But you can also see, of course, leading back here into the stomach, we have a little bit of a better visual here of the stomach on this side because the leg is kind of trailing, giving us a really nice open view of the stomach over here. And again, how impressive all of the skin texture is, as well as some of the scars and stuff that show up here throughout the stomach as well. Again, pretty much as we had seen on the first side. The paintwork, again, has all sorts of really nice subtle variation of color with different shades of blacks and browns like we've seen through the entire figure. We also have some more skin wrinkles and folds as you move back here into the thigh. The musculature, again, really nicely defined here in the thigh as you lead down. You've got a nice big calf muscle again, and then you lead down into the foot sculpt, and we do, of course, have another bird-like foot sculpt over here. But obviously, this foot is currently planted, but kind of looking like maybe it's about to pick up off of the ground, so the T-Rex can take another step forward. But the foot sculpt looks really good. The paintwork, again, looks really good. Nice scoots down the foot, down into the toes. And then you lead up here into the tail. And again, the tail just looks so strong, so muscular as you lead out. Pretty much the entire way that the T-Rex looks the whole way through. But again, you have that nice curve to the tail. Very nice, slight, elegant curve as you lead out, which actually does curve toward the dinosaur's left as well. And then we, of course, have very nice fine detail here on the underside that my camera doesn't want to focus on. You have the cloaca present as well, which may actually be one of the most detailed cloacas I think I've ever seen on a dinosaur model. And as you lead back, you've got the Sauria Models logo there on the underside, and of course the same detail, basically what we had seen earlier, because we did already look here on the underside of the T-Rex over here. But that is, again, far and away one of the best and most impressive Tyrannosaurus models I have ever seen, and dare say I will ever see. As far as a size goes, in 1/20th scale, it's definitely quite sizable. For a length, you are looking at from the snout to the tail about 20¼ inches, or around 51½ centimeters. And the highest point is probably the tail, so you're looking at about just a hair under 7½ inches, or just a tiny little hair over 18½ centimeters right there to the top of the tail, and then to the top of the neck here, and basically the head, about 6 3/4 inches, or around 17 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day Human Being next to our Sauria Models Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you can very clearly see this one definitely has a nice size to it, a very impressive and very large size overall. And because it is so large, most other Tyrannosaur models that we get, more often aren't really going to size up too well with it. One of the larger ones would be the Rebor Tyrannosaurus Rex, which you can very clearly see is quite a bit smaller than this very cool Sauria Models version. If you are a Mattel collector, though, I think the best comparison I could probably give you would be this one with an Extreme Damage, aka Extreme Chompin' T-Rex next to the Sauria Models version, because as you can see, they are very similar in size. So if you do have one of those Tyrannosaurs from Mattel in your collection, you are absolutely going to have a very good idea of the size of this one, because clearly it's very, very similar, just obviously way more realistic and better when it comes to the proportions. And since I don't really have all that many larger Tyrannosaurus figures outside of like the older Jurassic Park and Jurassic World figures, when it comes to more accurate models, most of them usually seem to get released in like 1/35th scale, which is what we see here with the How Long Good version. So if I were to just continue on with other Tyrannosaur comparisons of similar style models, you're basically just going to see a whole lot of the same thing. So I just brought in the How Long Good version to show you again the fact that any 1/35th scale T-Rex is going to be really quite small in comparison to this 1/20th scale Sauria Models version. So hopefully these comparisons have given you at least a little bit of an idea of the size. So this Sauria Models 1/20th scale Tyrannosaurus Rex is far and away one of the best Tyrannosaurus Rex models that you are going to see anywhere. No doubt about it. Sauria Models always make sure to do their homework when creating their figures and give you some of the best and most accurate versions of the dinosaurs that they create anywhere. And I can absolutely say the same about this T-Rex. It looks gorgeous from head to tail. It also features some of the best and most impressive fine detail that I've ever seen on a Tyrannosaurus model. It truly is a marvel to look at, and it has such a presence to it just standing here before me. And of course, if you were to order one of these, you can order it from him unpainted so that you can paint it yourself, or you can order it painted, so you can get it painted the same way that he has painted this one up. And of course, the paintwork looks great on this. There's lots of variation of color, really slight, subtle differences, and I think he's done a really good job overall on the paintwork of this one, giving it a very natural look, exactly the type of color scheme that I would personally expect to see on a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So definitely a great job when it comes to the paintwork. I also really quite like the pose, because it's just a nice natural kind of walking pose with the mouth slightly open, but it looks super intimidating overall. Like if I were out somewhere and happened to see this thing walking up on me, I would be pretty terrified. It is definitely a massive, very intimidating looking Tyrannosaurus Rex. So no doubt about it, this is one of the best Tyrannosaurus models on the market anywhere. If you are interested in grabbing this, I will include a link in the description to where you can do so again through Sauria Models. So make sure you check that link, definitely pick this up, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.